Welcome to Tami's Soul Speak, featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks, offering insight, spirituality, transformation, and clarity to every soul. Now, here's Tami.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope for wherever you are in the world, it's a lovely day. I hope the weather's great. I hope you've had a good week so far. It's always, where, sometimes we skid to a stop to have meetings or to be somewhere. So I hope when you join that you're actually able to spend some time here and take a nice deep breath and open your heart like we always do. And it'll be a wonderful, wonderful show today. Interesting topic. And so as you come into the room, be thinking about, relationships and what your relationship is with life. What is your relationship with everything? Oh, Michelle, hello. It's good to see you from Ireland. And Jen from Canada, hello, hello. I'm glad to see you. A happy Wednesday to you, Claire. Sunny Wales, I love it. So beautiful. I'm wondering, are the temps good? Are they comfortable there? And I know you're happy for the sun. Hello, Melanie. It's good to see you. It's interesting to me because we have relationships, from ourselves to others, the animals, people, and then also on the show here, as we gather, we create relationships with each other as we join our thoughts and mind, and we create new things. And animals always are wonderful for bringing people together. They're like the best networkers ever. Hi, Barb. It's good to see you from Canada. Hope your weather is good. And Melanie says, great to see all of you. Yes, it's going to be a really good day. Always is. We're going to expect the best, and that's always like a surprise. We'll see what the animals share with us today. They always offer us the firsthand opportunity to understand ourselves, whether we realize it or not. I think a lot of people don't think in those terms with animals, but that's how we learn about ourselves in a lot of ways that we wouldn't have the opportunity to otherwise. Hi, Diane. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. And as we talk about today's subject, I want you to be thinking about, I don't know if you've thought about it much, about soulmates or twin flames. I know we've talked about twin flames, or soulmates rather, in other shows. So this one's going to be interesting, and you'll have to tell me if you resonate with some of these pieces, especially as it relates to animals. Hello, Cindy from Knoxville. Yes, storms are coming our way. Uh-oh, I hope you don't send them to us. Indeed, good to see you from rainy Rhode Island instead of upstate New York. And Janet, good to see you. I hope you brought all the squirrel family with you. They definitely contribute to our gathering. So I want to know something. Have you all thought you've had a twin flame, or have you, thought you've had a soulmate? That's discussed in like spiritual concepts and metaphysical context, each describing a very different type of relationship, but they sort of different in their definitions and the roles they play in our lives. Hi, Jennifer. Melanie says, yes, she's given it some thought. And, we usually think of it in terms of humans, right? People in our lives. I don't know. And, I don't know if the majority thinks of it with animals, but that's definitely something that I love to talk about because it parallels, no different. So a soulmate, if we're getting our grounding in the concepts, I would say, a person or being, an animal that you have like a deep natural affinity. I'd say a similarity, in humans, love, romance, platonic relationships, friendship, kinship. There's so many areas with this. As you're coming into a room, we're talking about soulmates and relationships we have with our animals and with people. Melanie says, Dave, her dog is her soulmate. I love that. And, as we talk about these, maybe we can dive even deeper into what does that mean when it's a pet? Is it differing from our human relationships with that? And just from, what we've talked about this far, how many of you feel like you've had experience with a soulmate, whether it's a human or an animal or both? Have you had what you felt is a soulmate experience, a soulmate relationship? And what cued you in that that's what it was? Twin flames, it's an interesting concept, especially as it relates to animals, because it's considered kind of the mirror soul or the other half of you, which is interesting in itself. It's a very, very profound experience. Barb says she definitely has felt the soulmate piece. Barb, have you had it once, more than once? Can we have more than one soulmate in a lifetime? Is that like a one and only type of thing? Marge says, I think of my soulmates as kindred spirits. Not Marge. Melanie says that. Well, y'all are moving so fast. Yes. Melanie says, I thought Justin Dave's dad was my twin flame. Oh, how interesting. I like that. That's interesting because when we're aware, we start seeing even more. Claire says, her soul dog is deeper than any human, and you can lay everything bare to your animal and nothing held back. Isn't that the truth? We're not defended around animals. They get to see all of us, as opposed to sometimes we hold back, might be a bit guarded. I remember when I was in furniture, I would always bring a dog with me, whoever was, had come in at that particular time. And I remember I'd have furniture reps in and out of the office. And I remember them noticing how I worked with the animals, or how I was like, here's your little drawer, get your toys in here while we talk furniture. And it gave them a different perspective of me, as opposed to business, or handling things on a retail basis. So yes, we do show up differently without even realizing it. Hello, Kat. Really good to see you. So, I think soulmates, twin flame, however we want to describe it, is a profound experience. Bottom line, I think at the very least, it leads to personal growth and development deeply. It's characterized by its intensity and capacity to bring about significant personal transformations. Hi, John Williams. I was just thinking about you and mentioned you to somebody. It's really good to see you. There you are. I thought of him, and he shows right up. When my mom passed, I changed my cat's nickname to Mama because I feel her essence around my cat Melody. Oh my gosh, I love that. And I'm sure, yes, Mama definitely, and your mother was such a big influence and such a big part of your life, and how she's showing up and how you feel her. Love it. Janet says, Grace showed me what a true soulmate relationship with a human is supposed to feel like. What would we do if they didn't show us and draw us a picture? I get it. And Martine, always, beautiful synchronicities from her guides and soul family and your pets. Always, you always are communing, Martine, with every living being, and they all find you. So I think that's wonderful. And Nanette says, with my horse watching together. Yes, definitely. And Jolene, Gunnar, and I are here. We got the gang gathering today. Barb says it's happened more than once, that talking about the soulmate piece, the immediate connection is the clue. Where do you feel that immediate connection, Barb? How do you know? That's really, I think we all understand that, but I always like to dig it a little deeper and say, well, is it something, you feel you think about in your head? Is it something you feel in your heart? Where does it land in your body? And that will help us all, determine for us where it lands. The twin flame thing, it's often described as a challenging, can involve significant turmoil, drama, unlike the typical harmonious kind of soul connection. So, question, have you had relationships like that? Because twin flames are kind of, what would I say? They intertwine. So it's an offshoot of one, it's a part of a soul kind of connection thinking. And how many of you have had relationships with your animals that might have been challenging, a particular one? I know for me, I definitely have had ones that have come to me and lived with me. And it was a time of great transformation, great challenge, and amazing. It can feel quite, what in the world's going on? And what am I doing wrong? Or what do I need to do right? But it's the growth that the animals bring. They are such catalysts. Idly, good to see you. Just lost my beloved Reiki, feeling very sad. How do I go on? I'm hoping the show, and I totally resonate with the sadness and the question. It's such a simple yet profound question. How do I go on? I often say they don't teach us how to do that, right? We know how to be with them, but they don't teach us how to go on without them. And sometimes I think with people, if they have conversations ahead of time, I know recently there's a gentleman where I bike, and he's lost his wife, and it was a very, very close relationship. And she and he had wonderful conversations before she passed. And she told him, you love to travel, go travel, go travel. And so now that's what he's doing. I want to say he's probably 78 or 79 and is doing the very thing and picking up some joy in his life. So with our animals, though, how do we have those kind of conversations? But it's important, especially if we have like a heads up or a piece where we know they might pass. What can we do to prepare ourselves? So hopefully during the show, Idly, that this will help you put some pieces together. Barb was answering the question, and where do you feel it in your body? She says overall body, like an electric spark. I like that. Excuse me. In retrospect, moves through the chakras, top to bottom. So I'm going to say probably from your electric spark that it's quick and it's fast and it's maybe out of place so that you recognize it. And, is the soulmate connection a more gradual or soft, as opposed to the bang, it's here kind of feel. So it's something to think about and look into it. So, in essence, while soulmates are seen as profoundly compatible souls, twin flames are viewed as two halves of the same whole, offering opportunities for deep spiritual growth and learning. And I had a client just recently, just without me saying twin flame, gave me the description of that with her dog who had passed. And she said he was literally me. I was him in a dog body. He was me in my human body. So that's the kind of thing. And they both went through quite a journey of transformation. So yeah, interesting to think about. Michelle says, my puppy passed 3 months ago, miss him so much, and he was definitely my soulmate. Well, I'd like today to introduce you to someone that I think he's going to help us all learn and grow and deepen. And I've got lots of things to talk about with this twin flame and soulmates. And so I'd love to have you meet Stephen. And Stephen's a wonderful person that's had amazing experience. So Renee, if you wouldn't mind bringing Stephen on, everybody can say hello.
Hey guys.
Hi. Everybody say, welcome. Yes, he's got the crew with him.
Yeah, they have the roughest time as I speak. So
Yep, yep, yep. That's the way it goes. Definitely. So, Stephen, we met shortly after Dakota passed, and I popped up however I did, and
yeah,
you were able to share with me this deep, deep. Marge says, "I see all the hello, hi, Stephen, welcome, thank you all, welcome, welcome. We're on such a wonderful group here." But do you feel like just in this part of the description, what would you say? I mean, tell us about Dakota. And then what would you say she was? Does she fit either category or does she fit both?
both, definitely both. When I first got her, I didn't want her. Usually, you look for things that's, we don't look for things that usually happens better for you that way. So my daughter at the time, my ex-girlfriend, took me to get a dog. I had a dog in there for 20 years. I lost two in the 90s. I said, I just didn't want one. So I got Dakota. Within 2 weeks we had her, she developed parvo.
Oh,
And I was like, oh no, last time I had a dog developed parvo in the 90s. So I got her. And I said, well, we'll never see her again. Well, the vet took her and they got her back and we've had her. And then all of a sudden, just this attachment I've got with her. Like she just hung around with me. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain it, but she always knew what she was thinking. And put it this way, if Coda was barking at somebody and the hair was standing up, there was a really good reason, I promise you. She was very calm, laid back demeanor on her. She would make me laugh, consistently make me laugh, always make me laugh. The pictures I've had, but she was a great dog. And now she was, she made me become a better human, put it that way.
Oh, I love that. That's at the end of the day, the gifts we share with each other are so important. Renee, would you put the photo of Dakota up? I'd like everybody to see her. Is that not the sweetest picture?
That was the last picture. That was when she was at the vet and she was getting ready to go under.
Oh.
I don't like the term put them down. I like saying release them free. I like saying release. I don't like the term put them down. We release them. I like that. It sounds better to me.
Right. It's such a poignant photo and it shows so much love, and there's such it's almost like it's glowing. You can feel it.
She was so at ease that day. She was, and I asked the vet, I said, did y'all give her anything? I said, no, she just got tired.
Oh.
She had a tumor, it finally ruptured and she's starting to bleed out. She was 15 and a half, so but yeah, it was one
That's
day.
A hard day.
Yeah, one day she was fine, and the next day, completely different story.
Oh. You see where Claire's saying, I feel myself welling up with this photo. It's a very, very powerful, powerful photo. Who took that?
Our friend Nikki.
Oh.
She lost hers about 2 months before that. And I was a mess. Yeah. My wife was at work. I was a mess. So, sorry.
No, it's okay. I think all of us are feeling this profound sense of love and depth of relationship. And yes, you said you've had so many photos, and it's interesting that this is one that she put forward this morning as wanting to go on the lineup because she picked them when I was going through all your photos.
Our friend Nikki, she put that on for us, and she took a picture. I didn't even know it. I threw my hat on her head because she always wore my clothes. She always had her band. I called her Codana. She always wore it, and so I just built the serve. That was just a hat I had on my head that night. This was the plan. I just stuck it on, and so hey man, did you sit on her? I didn't even pay attention to it. I just stuck it on her head and she wore it.
Yeah,
that was the last picture we had of her.
Wow.
That was literally probably 4 or 5 minutes before it was the end.
Yeah. Wow. And it's interesting because, of all the photos you sent, that one moved forward for me because I always let the animals choose,
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the one. So that is definitely a profound message from her and confirmation to you and especially with the subject matter we're talking about. And, Marge is saying, we never get used to losing our babies. No. I would 100% agree with that. And
you always had the pain. You just have the pain. Just learn to live with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Would you say that the pain morphs over time? Does it
Yeah,
change?
it does. Like I said, something like that just put me in a different mood. It's like I'm hearing her. I can
Yes.
hear her.
Janet's saying, what a beautiful soul. I'm being urged by Dakota to ask you to tell us, like, what's up with the name? Why'd you name her that?
I couldn't come up with a name, and we just got online and started looking at names, and they just Dakota. I said, that's her name, Dakota. And I call her Dakota
Yes.
for short. She has so many nicknames. All
Yeah,
animals
yeah.
have so many nicknames.
Yeah. And it's not, somebody asked me one day, are the nicknames confusing? I'm like, no, they're fine. They actually like them. Quite
And
a bit.
when I took her to the vet, they spelled her name wrong. They spelled it T. I spelled hers with a D-A.
Right.
Dakota, not Dakota.
Right. As far as the when we're talking about the twin flames or soulmates, Renee, if you could put up the types of soulmates so that we can continue kind of the discussion. There's a lot of them. So Stephen, if you're looking at that, you got a soul partner, you got a romantic soulmate, a karmic soulmate, companion soulmate, soul teachers, twin flames, soul contracts, soul families, soul ties, kindred spirits. And I failed to put up their soul crossings, and we can talk about that, which is really interesting. So of all how many would you pull off of that? And you all, as you're looking at this, do you see any similarities with you and your animals with any of these kind of categories? What would you say, Stephen?
I can easily tell you 10 out of 11 right there for me, at least 10 out of 11.
Wow.
The partners, definitely. She taught, like I said, she taught me how to be a better human being. To me, she did.
Right.
Not, just for instance, because earlier the dream I had, and I was pretty upset with somebody, and then she come in my dream, sat in front of me, and gave me her paw.
Tell me that story. Tell me that story. I'd love to hear it.
So
you got upset at somebody. Somebody made you mad.
Someone made me mad. It had something to do with Dakota. After she passed, and make a long story short, I got upset about it. I was pretty hot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was up at work steaming. Then that night I had a dream with her. I was confronting this gentleman in the dream, and she walked in between and sat down in front of me and handed me her paw. Come on, that's enough, Daddy. That was the dream.
Wow. How long after she passed did you have that?
About a week.
Good gosh.
It was about a week. Yep.
So you were still extraordinarily raw and emotional.
Right.
And apparently this person crossed a line.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So, wow. And so in the dream, when you saw her do the paw thing, do you remember having any emotion in the dream, or was it just after? Did you wake up?
I woke later, somewhere I woke up, and we usually when I have something like that, I have to replay it in my head. Okay, did I just dream about this?
Right.
And I realized I knew exactly what she said. You need to stop.
Right.
Stop. Because she wasn't a fighter.
Yeah.
And that was just her demeanor. She was just the comfort side, the love side. She just love. And that was her telling me that. No,
wow.
Stop.
And so after that,
just leave it alone.
After that, and you woke up, and did that calm you? And
it did.
Wow.
It did. I had to tell my wife that because, I told her what happened, everything, but I told her about that dream, and she said something. Well, she's telling you to stop. Mm-hmm. That's what she did.
When she was here with you, would that have been her nature to do
that? Oh yeah. She didn't like us watching football together. She didn't like all my friends come here. We got 10 different fans up here, 4 or 5 TVs watching. Oh no. She got to the point where she watched along with us. Football came on TV. She just walked out the room. Oh, I know what this is. I'm going upstairs.
I love it. And so for before we get too far gone in the conversation, for the dream piece, what do you make of having that? Were you wanting a dream? Did you say, I need some guidance? Tell me about this person. You weren't asking for any of that, but how did that happen then?
I've seen a lot of them. I've been watching shows about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of people say I have dreamed or I haven't had a dream. I didn't have one till then, almost a week later, and that was, there's don't force it, don't block it out, but don't force it.
Mm-hmm.
It happens when it happens. When you
Mm-hmm.
least expect it to happen, as it did in my case, that's when it's going to happen.
And has it happened since?
Oh yeah, I've had had another one just recently where our cat passed, and my wife moved Coda's ashes, and I had a dream that next night. Yeah, don't forget Coda. And I looked for Coda's ashes; they were gone, and they were in the bedroom.
Oh, wow. Wow. Such a strong connection. And, that it just speaks to the fact that we don't lose them.
No.
The connection is still there. And would you say that when you demand, like, I need a dream, I want a dream, why am I not getting a dream? I need you to come. Well, I really need it. Would you say that blocks it? And have you ever
Yes.
done that? Did you do
Yes,
that
I did.
some with her?
I did. Of all things I could dream about, I wouldn't dream about her for, like I said, a week. So that incident happened with a gentleman, a friend that used to be a friend of mine. That's the first dream. Then I just kind of putting it together. Just don't force it. You can't. If you force it, it's not going to happen. If you completely block it out, definitely not going to happen. Just let it. Just open mind and let it happen. Don't go to bed. Please let me dream. Don't do that, because it's 99% of the time it's not going to work.
It's begging, and it's coming from a place of I don't have, and spirit is, at such a high vibration. And when we finally give up, even if we say, well, I guess I'll just never have one, that's the chance that you're probably going to get one.
Yeah. Well, there's a, Tami, I do my music, there's a lyric, and I had, the lyric says, I'm not in sight, but I'm always here. And it's a Kenny Chesney song. He said, I'm not in sight, but I'm always here.
Oh, wow. Has that always stood out to you, that line?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I heard that, like I said, that was only about a month ago. I had to put that song together, and I heard about a month ago. And and I get a lot of my things in music.
Right.
No, I actually remember that. I think I did a music video of Coda.
Yes, you did.
And I had so many people come back to me with that. So many. I mean, good ways. And people couldn't watch it. They had to put it down. And that was rough making that. But I mean, just so many, lyrics. If you hear them on the radio, but you actually get on the look on the screen and read the lyrics, it resonates a little more with you.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And so that musical part of you, that creative part of you, I think, opens the channel too. So you're not in your intellectual mind, you're in a different kind of space.
Correct.
That definitely helps, is to
your mind's a little free. It's the guards are down. Right,
exactly. Would you recommend, if people are wanting a dream from their pet, what would you recommend them doing? Would you recommend them listening to music or paying attention to it?
I mean, for me at work, it could be, TV shows or something. I mean, I know, let me give a good example. When Coda passed, my daughter and her boyfriend watched that movie, A Dog's Purpose, over and over and over. The Dog's Purpose movie?
Yeah.
They watched that over and over and over. I couldn't do it. I'm a ball with a heartbeat. But I mean, you could try it at work. I mean, it did for me. Everybody's there, but it helps you leave minds open. Your mind's going to be open.
Right.
It'll make that guard go down. Whether you think it's there or not, it will make the guard go down.
Right. That's really good advice, because I think we get caught up in our own, maybe it's guilt or, regret or whatever, and I wish I'd had one more day, and just all of it, and so it can block. I love the way the music relaxes the kind of the energetic system enough to where it's opening you without forcing it.
Right. You don't even realize it's happening, but it is. That's because you're not forcing it to happen.
Right, exactly. So Renee, if you put up I thought what we could do is like look at the soulmate piece a little bit and look at the twin flames. And then I've got a fun little exercise to kind of figure out where everybody falls in this. So Renee, if you put up the pets as soulmates. So, this is not all inclusive. This is just basic kind of highlights of this. And as you all are looking at this, the immediate bond and comfort, understanding, that you might feel. And we'll go over each of these. And Renee, if you kind of leave this up while we talk about it, the mutual care and the life lessons. And so if we're thinking about our animals and Dakota, there's that immediate bond. You might feel an inexplicable bond from the first meeting. In your case, like you were meant to be together. In your case, Stephen, you felt it after she had gone through her parvo, or do you remember you told me it was delayed?
Yep. I did not want her because I didn't want to go through that pain again.
Right.
But,
but she slipped into your life anyway.
Slipped in my life anyway.
You did not know what miraculous things were going to occur, did you?
Nope, absolutely not.
Would you say that it changed? I know you changed human being. Did it just change you just as a person, who you are, how you feel? Like if it hadn't been for her coming in, would all these inner transformations have occurred with you?
I don't think so. Like I said, she definitely made me become a better human being. I mean, my days, I was very wild, very wild. And but she was just a calm dog.
Right.
No matter what I did, she was always everybody loved Dakota. She was just her demeanor. I heard the word demeanor. Her demeanor was so good. And if it weren't for Dakota, I wouldn't have these 8 animals in my house now.
Right.
But that way, it's hard for me to turn them down.
Right.
I've lost them before, and unfortunately I've had to give some up. I never got over that.
Right.
And everything resurfaced, yes. Boom, out of nowhere. The key to me is, you lose an animal 10, 15 years ago, don't ever forget them.
Right.
You don't want to forget them.
No, because they were part of you, and
right.
you carry their legacy.
Right.
And you may be the only person that really holds their history.
Right.
When we pass, it's like, who's going to remember us? Who were we, and we want to have been of value and matter. And that's how, you come in carrying her legacy on and what she taught you. So would you say the comfort and understanding, that she provided comfort? Sounds to me too, like she was a good balance for you, kept you kind of grounded when you might have gotten a little hot-headed.
I've been watching, like I said, the football games, and my wife, Stephen, y'all need to calm down. You're scaring Dakota. Okay, we'll stop, guys. Let's stop. That's,
Did you notice
she'd do it? She'd do it for us.
Yeah. Did you notice when she'd walk out of the room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to notice. I said, look, she left, guys. She never getting to watch football. She walked out the room, went upstairs.
Do you feel like she understood your emotions?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd come in the house upset, just real down on myself. And guess who would be there right there on the couch next to me, just laying into me, Dakota.
Would that calm you down? That was like healing touch. We get taught there's a whole approach to healing, and you can go learn it. The animals are like, we got this. This is natural to us.
I was taught animals are pure souls. You know what I mean?
Who taught you that?
I just read it up and reading things and reading posts and read, why the animals don't have a long life as humans do, because they're already pure souls. They're their way. We get extra time to try to develop that same way.
Right. Beautifully. Very well said.
Yeah.
Very well said. They seem to know how to react to us, how to offer affection, when to offer affection,
right.
when to, exactly when it's needed. And so, if that is the case, then what about the mutual care for you? If we take that a step further, meaning it's a mutual kind of give and take in the relationship. You take care of them or her, and she takes care of you. Would you say it was reciprocal?
If she got scared, she came to me.
Oh.
I mean, she didn't like thunder and lightning. She came up to me. And God bless my wife. I can't say it. For her to put up all these animals, and she has. I mean, if you see my den, we're sitting on springs. I mean, I got out of all animals, one animal's done all that, but we'll we can't get rid of them. We love them. Yeah, I couldn't get rid of them. We love them. We'll just have to wait till he gets out there. We'll bring you furniture in the house, and I mean,
That's beautiful. That's like love. She really loves you. She's like, she's in for the long haul. Yeah, that's
and I just couldn't see. I mean, there. I'm gonna give you a story. At my youngest dog, Ace, he's a full German Shepherd, and I got him. He was only about 3 months old. Got in a serious accident, and Dad takes his back leg off. So he's tripod. And I got that dog today. He's 1 year old, happiest dog in the house. But
wow.
For my wife, to be honest, my wife, she sold her car to pay for that bill.
Oh, wow. Oh, that just gives me all over body chill.
She sold one of her cars, get $5,000 to pay for that bill. I was going to pay monthly on it. I can't let this little guy die. Now I got him. He's out there laying next to the door right now as I'm speaking to you.
Oh, what a wonderful story. What a caring, loving household.
And that's all because of Dakota.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Jeff is saying, when you were talking about the sitting on springs, he says it's not your house, it's theirs.
Yeah, they got us trained, that's for sure.
What about the life lessons, with pets teaching us, obviously, patience, and they teach us about loss too, right?
All right.
But are there any other life lessons that you can name that you haven't shared already that she's given you?
Patience. Gave me a lot, and I was very. You can hear I talk. I get fast sometimes, so I'm a very impatient person. But the last year, I developed a lot more patience.
That's wonderful.
That's because of her, and it just made me think about it. And then I thought about it after she has passed.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that anymore. I didn't want to be this anymore.
Right.
Like I said, she may become a better human being without you realizing it until she's done crossed.
Right.
Then you start marinating on it, and it just clicks.
Yes. That patience is something like it's osmosis that we have to. It's like we can't go to school, study, and learn patience.
Right.
It has to be exampled to us.
There's not a patient one-on-one class anywhere that I know of.
Exactly. Yeah. In the world, look at it. Nobody, like, how many people are truly patient? But animals, a lot of times, that's one of the main things they're teaching us is that patience and opening, because patience is an expansive energy. It's not a contracted energy. Whereas, anger or the other things are. So that it really is and what I love, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, because she really taught you that. And now you're like, okay, I've got this. This is how that feels in my body. This is what that looks like. Now you share it with others. So it's like the gift that keeps going.
Yeah, I knew, I lost my daddy when I was 10. And I didn't,
that's rough.
For me to, and it hurt, sound mean, but I mourned a whole lot more than Cody, any living person anybody's ever known.
Right.
It's been a year and it still bothers me.
Right. I know Eve reached out at times and was like, whoa, this is like a roller coaster.
Yeah. I sent you some emails and it just be out of nowhere, and it just, I'd be here all of a sudden, it just something just boom, triggered. And that when I come to realize that when it happens to me, I could feel her. I could feel her around me. I could really just can't explain it, but that's when I'd be watching some Star Trek or whatever I'm watching on TV. All of a sudden, boom. I look at the picture, I feel you, and it just hits me.
Oh, that's a not only a sign, but a visitation. And I love that it's in real time. So you're actually able to track it. That it doesn't just get by you.
You got to have love before you have grief.
Yes.
You got to love something before you can grieve for it.
Yes.
You can be sad, but you really grieve. I really loved her. So.
Yes. So she also taught you about the depth of love.
Right. Correct.
Would you also say that that's something that we humans need more work on?
Oh, absolutely. With everybody. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If this world was all like animals, this world would be better off right now.
Yeah.
I think anybody can agree with that right now.
So true. So, let's look at the twin flame piece of it, because I'm going to guess it's going to be a crossover for you. So Renee, if you'd put up that Pets' twin flames one, that should be, yes, that one. So we've got intense relationship, personal growth, transformative impact. So, intense relationship. A lot of times with the twin flame is some pets will challenge us in specific ways, perhaps through their own behavioral issues or needs that kind of push us to develop new skills or levels of patience. So, by her just being patient, it caused you to become aware of yourself as not
Correct.
patient.
That's correct.
That's huge.
And honestly, we've got the patience with these animals here. I mean,
yes.
No, like I said, I got to take some to school twice a week. Just,
How many do you? Are they like a group that they all are like hanging out together? And
my dogs are all big dogs. The smallest dog guy is Ace, the tripod, and he's 65 pounds by himself. He weighs the least out of all of them.
Wow.
I got a Malibu Husky. I got a German Shepherd Husky. I got a Belgium something. I know Artie is. I know he's a walking tornado in my house. But that's our boy. That's my wife's boy. That's and he was getting to me for my birthday, by the way.
Oh wow!
2 years ago, my daughter said, "Here, Daddy." I'm like, "Okay."
So, but he's really your wife's?
No, he's mine. But
right.
My wife said, "If we ever get divorced, I'm taking Artie with me."
I love that. That is.
She did not want him. She did not want him. But guess what? He played her like a fiddle.
He picked her.
He did.
Isn't that the case where we're the least expecting it, and it's the last thing we're looking for, right?
That's right.
Not interested, and the animals are like 10, 9, 8. We'll see until you crack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I got Muffin. She's a Great Pyrenees. She's 2, and I got I know I'm forgetting one. So, okay, let's go. Got Zoe. She's the Husky Malibu. She's 8. Gemini, that's the German Shepherd. That was my daughter's dog. I got stuck with her, but that's my dog now. She ain't going nowhere. She's 3. She's 4. Artie's 3. Muffin's 1. That's Sierra. That's the parent. I call her Muffin. That's her nickname, Muffin. And then Ace. That's the tripod one.
Right.
These are big dogs.
Well, and I know,
but they love each other. They lay on each other. And they fight. Sometimes they fight.
Right.
When Coda passed, Zoe, I had to take her to the vet. She'd go in the bathroom, put her head on the toilet, wouldn't come out.
Oh.
And all the big old spot on her side, as big as a softball.
Mm-hmm.
Go outside, sit in front of the driveway, just watch. She was grieving. She was grieving.
Yes, animals do grieve. So would you say that the personal growth from all the animals, Dakota being leading the group, being lead teacher, also has helped your wife as well grow personally?
My wife, Dakota, was the first dog she'd ever had.
Ah, okay. And that made such a big difference in her.
She had all these cats. She was a cat person.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never a cat person.
Mm-hmm.
But Maxine, that's the oldest one. She just passed, a few weeks ago. Then we had we got Romeo. He's the oldest animal now. I think he's 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I got Whiskey. I found him at a bar. I was on the phone. He just jumped in my lap at a bar called Whiskey's. Well, I called him Whiskey. That's his name,
gosh.
Then I had then I think I sent you a thing about a cat that just started showing up at I've got a picture of her. She looked in my window downstairs, was watching TV. Called him Casey. And it was the letter KC for a Coda cat.
Oh.
Because it looked like Coda, same colors.
Right.
And then, about 3 weeks later, 3 weeks ago, somebody ran up Mountain Road up here and broke my heart.
Oh, you've gone through a lot of losses.
My sister, my daughter lost her dog.
Yes. Yes.
About 2 weeks before that.
April was quite the transition month for sure. like
April
everybody
was just a bad month.
everybody, like, yes, we all had challenges, and it was all like out of the blue things, and it really was like propelling us into another level. And so just like the personal growth, the transformative impact, it goes with the experience. You can't help but transform because of it. And so I'd love to go through some questions with you all about
Okay.
like questions to ask yourself if you have a pet soulmate or a pet twin flame. And so Renee, I think I've given you something so we can read along with that. Pet soulmate questions. I have construction if you're hearing something in one of the units. So if you're hearing a buzzing or a noise, that's what it is. My apologies.
You go tell them knock it off. We got a show to do.
I know. It's even in another tower. So I guess, the pet soulmate questions. Do I feel, and for you all too, as you're reading this, do I feel an immediate strong bond with my pet as if we were meant to be together? So that's one thing. You feel that instant connection that feels just right. Does my pet seem to understand my emotions and respond to them in comforting ways? I know that a lot of you all have said, and I know Jolene with Gunner, he's very, very sensitive and often knows exactly what she needs. They tend to be highly in tune. And would you say Dakota obviously was?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I've got a cute little graphic, Renee, if you'd show the man sitting on the sofa. I think that's kind of what Dakota would have done if you came home. And Renee, if you could put that up, I don't know if you've got access to it. But at any rate, on the graphic, it's got this guy sitting on the sofa and, really rough day at the office. And then the dog's looking down, or there you go. The dog's looking up at him and says, I understand, rough day at the window. What's at the window? What does that look like? Janet should know what this looks like. It's not a bird. It's a squirrel. So it's like we share the same kind of emotions. And then the next thing, and for Navy to put up that graphic with the questions, is my life more balanced and joyful because of my pet? Did Dakota bring stability, happiness, and enrich your life? Obviously so. Ask yourself, do we have a harmonious relationship with mutual care and respect? Absolutely. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That the relationship is easy. Would you say your relationship with her was easy?
Oh, absolutely. I didn't have to.
Right.
She was no worry in the house whatsoever.
Right.
Now, if she gets out. She's going to be on number 9 golf course somewhere else. Because she just goes. That was the only issue I have. She gets out, run like a deer.
And then would she come back?
Yeah.
Or would you have to go get her?
I got some real hilarious story I can tell you about that. One about my wife, but she ended up. I live over near a golf course, and she ended up on the 14th hole, gone for an hour, never been gone that long. I she gonna cross the road, she gonna get hit, and somebody called me, and I seen the number, didn't know it. Somebody's commenting about my dog. I didn't know. We found her. One was cutting grass, and she ran so much. Her paws were bleeding. She ran so much.
Goodness.
Got a truck, didn't care. Just breathing, didn't care. So she had blood all through the house. Her paw didn't hurt.
Oh dear. I
didn't have anything to wrap it up with. So I said, let's get some paper towel with some masking tape wrapped around her paw. And she walked that thing on her foot for about 2 days. Didn't bother. Took it like a champ.
So many stories. Renee, if you put up that graphic, I've just got a couple of graphics that maybe illustrate that, that's the ease that, when you see people running with their dogs or walking or exercising, is that ease of the relationship that signifies that soulmate piece. And then Renee, the next one, if you would, a little cute. Any of you meditate with your animals? And any of them, I know, Jeff probably meditates with Trigger, and I know Daisy is always there. But animals a lot of times love to be in that energy of quiet meditation. So it's a real connection piece. And then, the last question for the soulmate would be, has my pet taught me valuable lessons about love, patience, or loss? And absolutely. I would say for you especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the other one, if we put up the pet twin flames one, as you're looking at this, does my relationship with my pet challenge me and push me to grow in unexpected ways? Or, have they been a catalyst? Have some of your animals been kind of like, not the easiest at times? And, have you experienced significant personal transformation since that pet came into your life? Have you had changes in your behavior? We always talk about the animals. They're like, you talk about your behavior. Like, really? Where your lifestyle, your emotional well-being has changed because of your relationship. I'm seeing some yeses, for the pet twin flame. And then Renee, the next one, is there a pattern of overcoming obstacles together leading to a stronger bond? Like human twin flame, a pet that acts like a twin flame might involve overcoming challenges too that strengthen your connection. Would you say the parvo for her, it was this, would you say that was a piece of deeper connection, of bonding that went because she had the parvo and then she got better?
Yes, absolutely. Like I say, one of the last dogs I have, this is, 1998. And I had a little lab and 6 months old, and he had parvo so bad there's nothing that could be done. Mm-hmm. So he had, and I didn't really want to get any more for that. And then when she caught parvo, it come right back to him again. Like, we're going to do it again. But lucky, and I believe she hung around because she wanted to hang around with me. She wanted to fight. She wanted to fight to live.
Yeah,
that's what she did.
Yeah. She came in truly as a teacher, healer, soul, big time for not just you, for everybody. And the other piece is, does your pet mirror your own emotional states or traits? Did you ever see any mirroring like that with your mood, or would she be the opposite there?
She's more opposite. She would, like I say, just a football thing. She'd always kind of tell you, calm down, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Just calm down.
Yeah.
She would do stuff like that.
Yeah. So Renee, if you put up this is really cute about the mirroring. So you got these two guys, and he's like, your dog's not very friendly, and he doesn't really like people. And the dog was like, well, neither do you.
I got one here now. It's just like that right now.
They call us out on our stuff. And then the last one for twin pet flames is, are there synchronicities or coincidences surrounding my relationship with this pet that align with your paths? Whatever. I just, even to how she came and how she slipped into your life, and how that's a deeper spiritual connection pointing to that twin flame bond. So would you say that you've had plenty of how interesting this she fell into my lap, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. Here recently, it's all these animals have been. They just fall on my lap.
Yes.
So I didn't go looking for them.
Yep.
Here.
Yes.
And,
yes.
My wife is a school teacher. She has to be very laid back. So she's a whole lot more patient I am. And definitely more tolerant putting up than I have been. But Coda's made her that way too, because she was a cat person. And once I get a dog in the house, whether it was injury, it was birthday given to me or anything, and she's made more connection with the dog than she ever had.
Well, as we go through,
Coda was her first dog she's ever had. So
wow. Well, that in itself is huge. Where it really impacts us when it's our first.
Right.
So as we go through, I want to take y'all through a fun little exercise to score. You might need some note paper. I don't know if you have any, Stephen. You might have to just do this mentally. But at any rate,
I'm only a man, for God's sake. I don't know if I can do it mentally right now.
All right. So for you all, that are watching, you might want to grab something, because we'll score these as we go along. So basically, this is what I would call like a twin flame or soulmate question relationship quiz. So I've got 3 categories, for emotional connection. When I'm upset, my pet A comforts me gently and seems to intuitively understand my needs. B may ignore or not react noticeably to my emotional state. Or C comforts me sometimes, but also exhibits independence and is not always responsive. So pick your one, and then let me take you to the next one. So it would be behavioral challenges. Dealing with my pet's behavior. A, involves straightforward care, occasional minor challenges. B, requires significant effort, adaptation, learning on my part. Or C, includes both easy phases and times when significant challenges arise. So just pick one of those that best describes how you've interfaced with your animal. And so let's go to the mutual comfort category. So seeking comfort and companionship. A, my pet regularly seeks me out and seems to prefer being close. B, my pet often prefers solitude and maintains a strong independent streak. C, my pet enjoys closeness at times, but also values its independence. So C is kind of like that hybrid version. And then the next one would be learning from each other. I have learned A, mostly about nurturing and attentive care. B, a lot about patience, speaking to you, and resilience through addressing difficulties. And C, both how to care better and how to manage challenges, enhancing my resilience and attentiveness. So pick one of those 3. And then nature of the bond. Is it generally peaceful? A would be generally peaceful and harmonizing. B, often intensely connected with periodic challenges. I've had some of those, by the way. C, a mix of harmonious times and challenging periods, helping me grow while providing me comfort. So that's all of them before I take you to the scoring of that. So hopefully if you need me to go back, I can. You'll just have to let me know. So as far as the scoring goes, Renee, I think I gave you that graphic. I want you to assign points. So for A, you get 1 point. For B's, you get 3 points. C, 2 points, which C is like the balanced blend of both aspects. So I'll leave that up a second so you all can like track that before as you start looking for yourselves. A, 1 point, B, 3 points, C, 2 points. All right. So the next one is like the results of what you scored. So 5 to 8 points, your relationship is mostly soulmate-like, focusing on emotional support and comfort. 9 to 12 points, your relationship exhibits a hybrid nature, blending the nurturing aspects of soulmate and the growth challenges of a twin flame. 13 to 15 points, your relationship leans toward a twin flame with its challenges fostering significant personal growth and change. So I'm seeing some of you chime in, and I'm seeing a 10. Kat says, Marge, total score 9. Michelle says 6. Jeff, 7. Isn't it fascinating when you start looking at it like this? What did yours total up to?
I had a couple. There's there are 1, 2, 3, the 4th questions we had, A, B, and C. I could have answered all those.
Okay.
But I went with D. But I could have easily picked any one of those, but I had 12 points.
Wow. So you would say, again, like what we started out with, she's both a soulmate and a twin flame.
Right.
And some of them are saying, Joyce is saying 9.
I would say mine was, if you go with the other ones, add the other ones, I could say mine between 12 and 14.
Right.
Somewhere in there.
Right.
Right in the middle of those 2.
Right. That's so fascinating when we start to really look at it. And so as you reflect, think about how those results align with your experience. What aspects do you value most in your relationship with your pet? And I know you've definitely done that with Dakota, and she shared with us. And how can you enhance both the comforting and the growth-inducing dimensions going forward? So it helps us understand ourselves in such a deeper and different way. And it helps us not put things in categories or labels and realize most likely we're all a blend of a lot of different things, right? And especially if they come into our lives for a long time. And, the soul crossings would be those that pass through very quickly, like, right by. Well, we have enjoyed having you on.
I appreciate it. Thank you for
Oh
having me.
my gosh, it's been deeply rewarding, and I know everybody's really appreciated hearing about Dakota and getting to know her, because when you share who she is, when you're talking about it, we get to feel that too. Do you feel her closer during this time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll linger around me for Nick Calvert too. It's just what
Yeah.
usually does.
Yeah.
When I watch your show, that's what always
Yes,
happens. Yeah.
definitely. Well, thank you,
Well,
and
no,
thank you, everybody, for.
thank you for doing what you do, Tammy. I really appreciate it. And how I found you one day right after she passed, somebody did something.
Yep, I believe that was Dakota led.
Had to be.
Well, everybody have a great week. I've loved having you here, and I look forward to seeing you on May 22nd. See you next time.
You've been enjoying Tammy's Soul Speak featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks.